friends, and welcome back to my channel. I've not done a sit-down video in quite some time, but it was time to do one because I have a very exciting story to tell you and to document for me to look back on. Okay, so as you can see by the title, I am engaged, which is so crazy to say. And I wanted to tell you the proposal story just so I can remember all the little details while they're fresh in my mind, and document this because it's so exciting and so special. So today, right now, is Monday, June 27th, and we got engaged last Wednesday on June 22nd. So I don't really know how to tell this story other than to just ramble my thoughts and memories as they come up. But Rob proposed to me last Wednesday on June 22nd in our living room, and I was completely surprised. He and I have been dating for almost 4 years, or we've been together for almost 4 years, and we just bought our house in February. And so before we moved into our house, we kind of talked about, or before we even started looking for houses, we talked about our timeline of okay, well, we probably need to get out of the city just because it's quite expensive to be here, and if we want to move forward in life, we're gonna have to leave this very expensive apartment. So we decided to buy a house first before we got engaged. I think it was the right decision. So we buy our house, and that all happened super quickly, which is so exciting. And then we moved in February, got ourselves together, and about a month into living here, we were okay, now let's look at the timeline again. And we realized, or at least he really had me fooled, that maybe 2022, because we bought this house and that's a big financial investment, we won't get engaged until at least 2023. And so that's definitely been in my mind, is that I'm not expecting to be asked or to be proposed to until 2023. And every friend I've talked to about this, every family member was, they're right there with me. That's what they expected. And I, when you're in a relationship and you joke around with your partner, and I would joke around with Rob, and I was okay, oh, I really like this ring, or oh, look at this, on Pinterest or whatever. And he would always tell me, it's not happening this year, stop showing me these things, And I was okay, I'm probably annoying him. I feel bad because I know that, our relationship is solid. I should stop annoying him. And so last week, when he proposed to me, I was so incredibly shocked because it's June 2022 and not 2023. So yes, so now let me tell you the story of when he decided to propose, how he proposed exactly, and what the last couple of days has been like. He told me that about mid-May, he woke up one day and he just decided, I think it's time I should just buy a ring, and then we'll see what happens. I don't really have a plan from there. So he called my mom while he was at work and she was at work, and he was hey, I think I'm going to buy a ring. I don't know how long it's going to take to get here. I don't know a plan. I just wanted to let you know. And of course she was excited, and he asked for my ring size, and my mom did not know because I haven't lived with her in many years. And I've never told her, at least to my knowledge. And so my mom knew, but she just knew he was buying a ring. She didn't know anything else because at the time he didn't really have any other plans. And he also told his best friend that he was buying a ring just so he could chat with someone about it. And that's it. He didn't tell anybody else. No other friends, no other family, no one. And so then he ordered the ring, and he bought it, and they said it would take about 4 weeks, and it showed up 4-ish weeks later. So he buys the ring. I, of course, know nothing about this. This is towards the end of the school year. I'm all stressed. The school year's ending. The end of the school year was rough city for me. And so I definitely was probably very cranky and not the kindest at home. So I think it's so funny that he thought, oh, it's time. I love her so much, when I'm probably was the biggest rudest person ever. But I just think that's funny. So he buys the ring. It comes 4 weeks later. It got to us last Tuesday. So he had told me the week before that he was going to be working at home on Tuesday because he ordered a computer part that he had to sign for, and he wanted to make sure someone was home because sometimes I go out to Starbucks. You know, you've been watching me this summer. And I was like, okay, that's normal because he has a job where he can work at home if he wants to. And he orders stuff for his computer all the time because he's like built his computer. I did have a thought that crossed my mind at the time, and I didn't really think that much about it, but at the time it crossed my mind of what computer part could he have ordered that's so expensive he has to sign for it, because he's never signed for one before, to my knowledge. But, you know, I don't know enough about it to have questioned it, so I was like, sure, whatever. So he works from home for half the day. His work day is over. Nothing had come. And I was like, oh, did you get your computer part? He's like, no, not yet. It's supposed to get here by tonight. And I was like, oh, okay, whatever. And so we decided to not go to the gym because we wanted to, like, be near our house in case the UPS truck showed up. So he's like, why don't we just go on a walk, you know, for our exercise of the day. So we're walking around the neighborhood, and we see the UPS truck, like, we weren't too far from our house when we saw it. We had been walking for like 45 minutes, and he sees it, and he was like, we have to go home. And I was like, okay, like, that's fine. But, like, in my mind, I'm thinking, you know, if you miss it, like, it's just a computer part. You can always just, like, go pick it up wherever they bring it. So he was like speed walking back to our house. And I'm like oblivious, like truly, like I said, did not expect this for at least 6 to 12 months from now. And so I was like, okay, whatever. So we go back home. We did not miss the UPS truck. We come in, I'm like upstairs, you know, relaxing after our walk. I'm about to take a shower. The UPS person comes, and he goes down and he signs for it, and he puts it in his like office. I don't even care because, again, I think it's a computer part. Puts it in his office. You know, we go about our night. The next day, he's now told me this because, you know, I wasn't there when he was thinking these things. The next day, he said he woke up and he was just like, I want to do it today, so I'm going to. But of course, it was Wednesday. He had work. He goes to work. Wednesday, I'm vlogging. I like went to a coffee shop. I tried to organize my house a bit. You know, just a normal summer routine for me. And, you know, I finished my day, and it's almost time for him to come home, so I put on a gym outfit. Quite a decision now that I see what happened later. And he leaves work. He calls me at home. He's like, hey, and I said, hey, do you want to go to the gym? And he's like, no, I'm feeling a little too tired to go to the gym. Also, my friend David's going to come over. He and David work together. He's a good friend of ours. We're just going to, like, play games, you know, play video games, just hang out. And I was like, okay, whatever. And so in this moment, I'm in a gym outfit. I don't actually need to go to the gym. And I'm just like, whatever, I'm just going to be comfortable in these gym clothes because it's like, you know, 5 o'clock now. So they get home, and this is like when Rob was going to do it. His plan was I would be at home, I would be, you know, upstairs, whatever. He and David would go to his office, he would get the ring, which was clearly not a computer part, it was the ring. They would go back downstairs, I would go downstairs, and he would propose. But, and David was truly just here so we could have a video of it and like some pictures of it. So that was his plan. That's what he told David. That's what he thought I would be doing, because a lot of the times when he gets home, I'm upstairs on my computer or like watching TV or whatever. But this day of all days, I'm downstairs, and not only am I downstairs, I'm outside checking the mail when they both pull up. So I'm just like, hey, how are you? Oblivious completely. And we go inside, we sit in the living room, and we all just like chat for a while. So we're in the living room, we're chatting, and I'm oblivious, and David's chatting with me and Rob. And then at one point, Rob goes upstairs and comes back down, and he's still in his work outfit, which I thought was strange because he immediately like wants to put on like comfortable clothes when he gets home. And I was like, whatever. I mean, David's in a work outfit. Maybe they just like are gonna do whatever. Like, I'm like barely thinking about it. So we're having a conversation for like 45 minutes, and Rob is like trying to get me to go upstairs, and of course I'm unaware of like what he's trying to do. So eventually he's like, hey, so we're gonna go help David pack because David was about to move, like pack up some more of his room. Do you want to come? And I was like, sure. So I was like, oh, let me go upstairs and get my phone, get my shoes. So I do that. Oblivious. I get my things, I head downstairs, and when I head downstairs, Rob is like ready to propose in the living room and does, and I'm so shocked and like very confused. I truly was like, the biggest emotion I felt was just pure shock. And he proposes, and obviously I said yes, and then I was just like dumbfounded for quite a while. And then we did, go and we hung out with David for a little bit just because we were like, what do we do right now? And then we came home and we called a bunch of our family and close friends. I wanted to record a couple reactions of telling people, and I think we only got like a couple because eventually we gave up. We just wanted to talk to people. But I have my parents' reaction, which is so great to me because he did not tell either of them he was doing it on that day. Their reaction was so sweet. Their faces are like stunned. Because they were just like, what? But of course they were happy. We have Rob's mom's reaction, which is super sweet. She's so sweet. I'm so excited to get to be in their family. Okay, and the last reaction that I have that I think is like worth sharing is one of my best friends, Victoria. She is a high school friend of mine. And when we went to college, I went to college a year before her, and then when she went to college the next year, she went to Nevada, and she still lives there. So I do not get to see her a lot, but she's still one of my best friends. And so when I called her, it was still like working hours in Nevada, and I was like, there's no way she's going to answer me. And so I called her, she didn't answer, and then I called her again, and she did. And so this is the reaction we got from her. Yeah, those are all the reactions we have just because, like, we just wanted to call people and, we just didn't film a lot of reactions, but that's okay. I'm really happy we have like our parents. And yeah, every single person we called was so shocked because again, Rob told nobody. But it was so sweet and I'm just so incredibly happy and incredibly excited. So, I'm going to show you the ring because I haven't done that yet and I'm obsessed with it. I'm going to just tell you the story of how I found this ring because I did pick it out. I was following someone, like an acquaintance friend that I had made in college who got engaged early pandemic, and she got engaged and she had this ring and she tagged the company, and I was like, wow, that's like such a beautiful ring. I would love something just like that. So I didn't bother her because she was like newly engaged, but I like clicked on the company, went to the website, found it, and it was within a budget that I thought would be acceptable for like what we could afford for that. And so I saved it, and then throughout the last 2 years or so, I had saved other rings that were like kind of like this ring, but a little different, and I never really liked any of them as much. And so like 5 months ago or 6 months ago, I went on my Pinterest and I was like, let me delete all the ones that are not this ring just in case he surprises me this year. And so he did such a great job of getting the ring that I wanted, but here it is. I am so obsessed with it. It is so pretty. Yes, and that girl that I was following, her and I have had a conversation because I've now posted this on like my social media, and I was like, did you notice that I stole your ring? But she was very sweet about it, and yeah, I'm just incredibly shocked still, super excited. We have done a little bit of wedding planning, not anything official, more just like thinking of ideas, and it's very exciting. So this next year or so, who knows, I don't have a date or anything, will be a lot of vlogs talking about the summer because that's still happening, wedding planning a little bit, and of course teaching, hopefully, if this year is not as chaotic. But yeah, crazy. Anyway, I just wanted to share that news and the story because it's so sweet and I'm so happy and lucky and I'm just beaming. So thank you for watching. I hope you enjoyed, and keep spreading positivity. I'll see you in the next one. Bye!